Hey everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Well, what you just saw was the contents of my last ditch survival kit. And here in a couple minutes, we're gonna go through that whole kit. And then over the next few weeks, we're gonna come back out here and we're gonna put that little kit through its paces. We're gonna use and test out all of the gear in different environments, different weather conditions. If we get some snow, all our snow came and went, but we'll do the best we can. So anyway, real quickly, what is a last ditch survival kit? The way I think of it, because people have different thoughts on what one might be, and how do we put one together? How do we design one? Because obviously in a last ditch survival kit, you're going to be very limited in what you can carry. The idea is a small kit in a small pouch that ideally is attached to you. That is a big key. And I'm going to tell you, all of the time, being involved with search and rescue and different things out here, I see people come out to the woods. They have a survival pack, they have a chest kit or a fanny pack. They leave it in their vehicle and they leave it in camp. I'm only going to go for a 5-minute walk. I'm just going to go explore this little area and come right back to camp. Or I'm going to take a 5-minute walk away from my vehicle and be right back. There's no reason to put on my pack or to take my water or my gear or anything else, because I'm only going to be gone for 5 minutes. I've done it. I'm guilty. I've seen so many people out here do that. And it's something that I no longer do, by the way. In the past, yes, but no longer. A last ditch survival kit ideally is in a pouch that is attached again to you. It's on your belt. That means when you get up and walk away from camp, if your backpack is hanging on a tree, sitting in camp, or if you leave your vehicle and your fanny pack, your vest, whatever, is left in your vehicle, so be it. Your last ditch kit is attached to your body. If things go sideways on your 5-minute walk, Murphy's Law, you have basic equipment to survive. Shelter, fire, water are the things that are going to get you through. So with that in mind, again, we're going to go back. The other thing is you're very limited on space. Okay, you cannot take a full-size stainless steel bottle or canteen and put it in a small pouch. The one thing that I do always have on my belt every time I leave my vehicle, leave camp, no matter what, is some kind of a sheath knife. So even if I don't have, SE6 is my choice, by the way. If I don't have my saw, my hatchet, my big knife, I've been carrying the Becker BK9 a lot this winter, whatever. If I'm only going to have one thing, SE6 is my choice for the one tool option, which is not normal for me. I usually have my hatchet, my saw, and everything on my belt. But we're talking last ditch here. Last ditch. A small survival kit in a sheath that will fit on your belt, and a sheath knife. The moment you leave your vehicle or your camp for any reason whatsoever, you should have a sheath knife on your belt as well as a survival tool. And in the scenario that I can only have the one sheath knife and the contents of my small last ditch pouch, the SE6 is my favorite knife. It is my all around. It's halfway between a small and a large, so it will get the job done. Okay, let's talk needs real quickly. Do you need your last ditch survival kit in the mountains where you are surrounded by streams? Every single side canyon this time of year in the winter is flowing water. All the springs, all of the underground little ponds that we have out here, the creeks, no matter what direction I go, I will walk into water, literally. You cannot go far out here this time of year without water. So, are you in the mountains this time of year, winter, or are you in the desert where things are still dry? Melting snow might be your own option. Are you carrying your kit in the hot summer, July, are you carrying it in the winter? You need to research and maybe, do some experimenting, some thinking, some studying on what I want to carry for my environment. Pine fir forest for me. Maybe it's a hardwood forest for you, something completely different. Again, maybe it's desert and not mountains. Maybe it's a coastal region. So it needs to be environment specific and it needs to be season specific. I would put together a different kit if I lived in a desert region and it was dry. I would have different priorities, different needs. I live in this mountain region where the forests are full of, again, this time of year, winter, seasonal, streams, creeks, ponds, lakes, everything out here is full. So water is not a high priority. A way to filter it, a way to carry it, if I'm going to be camped a little ways up, is something that I would definitely need the filter. A way to carry it, optional if I don't want to walk back to the stream, but I'm basing it again on my environment and the season. So I'm actually safely tucked up underneath that fir tree that I just showed you guys. And everything in here, for the most part, is dry. I've got firewood, so that completely dry up under here. Even the ground debris, the pine needles, the fir needles that are in here. And you can test moisture by putting it against your cheek. Those are dry. Those are dry. So I have overhead protection, and because the ground is pretty much dry under here, I know that it's good overhead protection. The boughs are coming all the way down to within inches of the ground around me, so I have some wind protection. All I need is a fallen pole or two. I'll walk over to another fir tree, use my knife or my little saw, which you'll see shortly on my Swiss Army knife, to cut up fir boughs. And I can make a little debris shelter underneath here. I can make a bear bed. I've done videos on those where I cover myself with debris and things. But the thing is, I can get out of rain, out of snow, and with just a little bit of work, out of wind, and then use a whole bunch of this stuff to help insulate me. So water is not a priority need for my kit because I'm surrounded by creeks. I got one to my left. I got the little one that I just showed you in front of me. If I walk up the trail a ways, I got another one, and I got one behind me. I'm hemmed in by streams. So water's everywhere. Water's not a priority. Filtering it is. So some type of a small filter is a priority part of the kit. But water itself is not an urgent need for the kit this time of year in my environment. Again, neither is shelter, in the sense that with just a little bit of work, I can do a debris hut, a bear bed. I've already got overhead protection. And so what becomes the priority this time of year for me, my environment, my season, is fire. Okay, I can stay hydrated, no problem. I can get out of the snow and the rain up under a tree like this, and these are plentiful. There's another one over there. The hillside's covered with them. There are a plethora of big fir trees with their boughs and stuff going all the way down to the ground that you can tuck yourself up underneath and stay dry and get out of the wind, and just with a little bit of work build up a nice shelter to stay warm. So my number one priority is fire, though. If things get nasty, if I were to get wet, if I needed to boil water, if I needed emergency signaling or emergency heat, fire. Fire, again, my environment, my season this time of year is going to be my number one priority for my kit. So as I'm assembling this last ditch kit, my first thoughts are going to be, okay, fire. I need to make absolutely sure that fire is covered and I can get fire, because my #1 enemy this time of year is hypothermia. Like I said, maybe as I'm moving from point A to point B, I get wet, I get cold, I need to dry out. This under this tree is awesome. I can really spruce this up, make a nice bed and things in here. But with a fire out front, right where this camera's sitting, dig a little fire and the heat comes up in here, I am warm and comfortable all night. And if somebody's looking for me, search and rescue because I'm in trouble, I can throw green stuff on the fire, put up a ton of smoke, and people will see my location. They would be out looking for me if you notify someone what time you're supposed to be back and you don't come home. So as I'm putting together my kit, I'm thinking fire and then assessing my other needs. Okay, I definitely need something to filter the water with, and then I need something that may aid me in shelter and direction finding and other things. So with all of that being said, let's go through the kit. Okay, the contents of my kit, as the video started, are all laid out for you guys. First thing of all, go on Amazon, look at the different pouches. I actually picked up, I think, 3 or 4 cheaper pouches, found something that I liked. This is an older pouch from Spec Ops brand. They no longer make the one in this size. They've shrunk it down a little. But I also bought some at Amazon that are similar. Some have snaps. This one has zipper. They're all about the same size. And this is perfect. It's something roughly in the area of 5x7 or 6x7. But it's got 2 belt loops. Like most of the ones I looked at, whether they were vertical or horizontal, had belt loops. So a small pouch that's comfortable to put on your belt, that will hold your gear. That's your #1 priority, so that it is with you at all times. That's the biggest thing about a last ditch kit. If you leave camp and your last ditch kit is in your vehicle, it's in your pack or attached to your pack and not with you, it does you absolutely no good. The idea is to have your last ditch kit on you at all times. This weighs in at about 1 1/4 pounds, so I don't even notice it that's on my belt. That, along with your sheath knife. Again, if you're looking for a good all-around sheath knife, my go-to is the SC6 modified with a 90-degree spine, which I've demoed on quite a few videos for making fine scrapings and striking a ferro rod, backup striker. So as I was saying, priorities, fire is my #1. So I have an Altoids tin, which is filled, this is a small one, the minis, filled with cotton saturated with petroleum jelly. If I use a full one, that'll give me up to 7 minutes burn time. More than likely, I am gonna just tear off small pieces as needed, and that's going to definitely be my tinder #1 source for getting fires going out here this time of year, along with a ferro rod. This is a smaller one, but for igniting the cotton balls, it puts out enough. They'll light with a single strike. My backup fire source, I decided to go with something a little different. I have not done a field test on this, and that being the reason why. It's something new that we can try out together, is the little Fire Starter Aviation Survival Spark Light. They read that there. I know that these are a part of the military, certain military kits. And you've got your striker in there, has arrows on it telling me which way to go, so I can get sparks. So that would ignite the cotton. Plus I've got 10 or so of these quick tinder tabs. And this thing weighs practically nothing. Takes up very little room in the kit. I could carry one of these in my pocket. I thought it would be cool to do something new. I've done, I know what a lighter does and wind waterproof matches. This will give me an opportunity to try out something new. Okay, we talked about water. I definitely need a way to purify it. So from Hydro Blue, this is the Sidekick filter straw. It's got a carbon filter on the end, and then it's got the regular filter inside here. And let's pull that off, open this up, and I can drink straight from the stream, puddles, ponds, creeks, whatever. And I don't necessarily need to have a way to carry water, again, because I'm surrounded by creeks, but I don't want to get up in the middle of the night if I'm thirsty and walk to the creek and get cold. So what's going to fit and what has worked well for me, many times I used this on my survival test this year, is the Aqua Pouch from, was it Self-Reliant? No. I'll put it in the description. Sorry, let's see, is there a name on here? Survival Resources. Survival Resources. So if you go on Survival Resources website, and I'll put it in the description, they sell these aqua pouches. You just put a piece of cordage through here, unfold it, fill it up with water from the stream, and then I use my filter to drink right out of the bag. And I'll hang this from my belt or over the handle of my knife. That'll give me a liter of water. I don't really need to carry the water as I travel. This is more for convenience. Once I am back up under my tree and have shelter done up, I don't want to get out anymore, but I want to stay hydrated through the night. So that takes care of fire, that takes care of water. So our cutting tool for this kit is the Victorinox Ranger. This gives me a large backup locking blade for my sheath knife. And my number one reason for choosing this is this big old saw. I have cut poles, fairly large poles, large enough to build shelter with, lean-to or whatever with it, and also for getting fat wood for a fire, striking a ferro rod, and then I've got some other tools in here that could come in handy. I have just a small compass for direction finding, but it works good enough. If I know that when I left my vehicle, I was traveling south, I know that I need to travel north. And out here, in the area that I'm in, at the bottom of all the canyons, there is streams running, I would say, parallel to where the road is going to be. So if I know that I went north and I need to come back south, I will eventually hit the stream, and I know, okay, my vehicle is either up or downstream from where I am, but it is definitely on the stream. I'm not lost. So just a small compass. With shelter, the one thing that I can add to my shelter, this is an SOL heat sheet, much stronger than the Mylar blankets. If those things start to tear, they fall apart. If this thing gets a tear in it, it will not continue to tear on its own. You can tug and tug. They are really, really durable. So I can use this behind my fire to reflect heat on me, or behind me, so the fire reflects heat on me and on the blanket, and the blanket back on me. All kinds of ways I can use this for emergency warmth. Some Band-Aids, some alcohol prep pads, which are handy to keep out infection, and also another fire starting source. Check out my shorts. I did a short on using the alcohol prep pads to start a fire. Cordage. If I am going to build any type of a little debris hut or lean-to, I may need some cordage to secure a pole, or to secure that emergency blanket if I'm going to put it up into a fire reflector or shelter. So I've just got some bank line, bandana, a variety of things that I can use this for. I use it to carry tinder. If I'm going to need shavings and things for a fire, I will put them in here or catch them. I can use it for an emergency bandage, a splint, quite a few things. But it doesn't take up much room, it doesn't weigh anything. So that is in there. What else have I got? This was kind of cool. I found this on Amazon because duct tape or Gorilla Tape is handy. These are little packets of pocket size duct tape. If you type that in on Amazon, it'll come right up. It gives me 5 yards. So I've got 5 yards of duct tape. If I need to, if I run out of cordage, I can tape some poles together. If I do get a hole or something in my emergency blanket, or even in my shirt or my pants or something, I can tape it. I can use this for a variety of things. So that's in there. Again, Murphy's Law says that I'm probably going to be stuck out here when it's dark. So this is the E-Light from Petzl. And the reason I like this, it's not because it's super bright or anything, it's because it's going to last for like 100 hours. And it has a lot of options in it to help me. So if I want to get rest, if I just need to see, sorry guys, I've got bright and a dim. If I need to get rescued, I've got a strobe, and at night, that's going to be seen. And then if I want to keep my night vision, I've got red, and I also have a red strobe. And so I chose this because duration, it's going to last like 100 hours. And because of the size, it weighs and practically nothing and takes up almost no room. So for a last ditch kit, this is the ideal size. Sorry guys, the sun shifted on me and it's creating a big shadow now. And the last thing I put in here was a little bread pan, tinfoil bread pan. I've got it all folded up. And I chose this folded flat. It will fit in the kit with everything else and not take up a lot of room because it gives me a way to boil water. So I have a backup purification. If something goes wrong with my filter, I drop it and break it. It's only a small amount of water, but I can boil it, hydrate, boil some more, hydrate, and also so that I can make pine needle tea. So food is not really an option in a kit this size. I might have a candy bar or an energy bar or something in my pocket when I leave camp, which is good. But at the very least, I can make up a batch of warm pine needle tea and drink it as I'm snuggling in for the night to stay warm, stay hydrated, put something that gives me a little bit of energy and warmth in my stomach. So as I said, guys, fire out here this time of year, even with the sun out, it's still right around freezing, is my #1 priority. So those were the first items I chose for my last ditch kit. And then from there, assessed other needs, a way to purify water, some additional items for shelter, finding my direction, emergency repairs, little first aid, etc. So when you're putting together your last ditch kit, again, assess your situation. Are you in mountain? Are you in desert? Is it winter? Is it summer? You know, are you in urban, suburban, wilderness, whatever? And then make sure it's in a pouch that will stay attached to you. When you leave your vehicle, when you leave your camp, whatever, it's attached to you along with some kind of a belt knife, sheath knife. Next few weeks, guys, as I said, we are going to put that kit through its paces. We're going to come out here and we're going to make fire using just the items in the kit. We're going to obtain water. We're going to obtain shelter. We're going to put everything in the kit to the test and see how well it works. So that's going to be over the next few Saturdays. I'll be posting the videos and hope you will enjoy that. And I also want to remind you guys that on Wednesdays, I am doing either survival tips or gear reviews. I put up my first one last Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I've tested out some new gear this year. I found a new ferro rod that I really like that's much cheaper than the Uberleben, so I need to do a video on that for you guys. I have tested out some new headlamps that I really, really like. So I've got some cool gear reviews coming along with survival tips. Those will be up on Wednesday, as long as life doesn't get in the way. And my regular videos out here in the mountains, I will be putting up Saturday morning as always. Again, this is just part 1. This is the kit. And over the next few weeks, we are going to put that kit to work in a variety of situations. And I'm really, really hoping for snow for a lot of reasons, because we don't need another drought this summer. But I'd really like to be able to use that kit for you guys out here, in not just in winter, but in the snow. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope that my own little last ditch kit gave you guys some ideas. Take care, everybody, and stay safe out there.